Please give some advice for those going into their first ever bulk coming out of a fat loss phase. I can start on this one. I think the easiest, simplest thing that you can do with this, you don't even need to change anything, is reframe the word bulk. So what we do with all of our clients at Coaching Society, predominantly being female, so I'm guessing that this question has come from a female because it's females who generally have that association with going into a build phase or a bulk phase as being like a scary thing.
Oh yeah.
Guys go into it like really, really quickly and easily. So change the word bulk to build. Okay, so rather than thinking of it as a bulk, if you think of it as going into a bulk phase, you'll probably think I'm going to gain body fat. And that's generally the association that a lot of people, especially females, have when they come out of their fat loss phase. So you want to try and just remove the word. That will change things massively.
Yeah.
When you talk about build, you talk about building muscle, building habits, building structures, building routines. Rather than bulk, if you think about the word bulk, that generally means that your body is going to get bigger when you've just come out of that phase where your mindset has been
quite fragile.
And reduce calories, increase activity to reduce the size of your body. You then think about bulking and bulking up the size of your body. You're then thinking that you're going to
so hard not to do.
Yeah, you're going to unwind all of that hard work that you put in.
I think it just comes down to reframing your language and being aware of how you approach situations or how you talk to yourself. Going as a female as well, the thought of me going into my first ever quote unquote bulk after my first ever fat loss phase, no wonder you're scared shitless. Like, no wonder. You've just worked 12 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever it is, to do the exact opposite. And if you're now saying I'm going into my first bulk, it's going to terrify you. So reframing the language so that you can then almost like digest what's ahead of you a little bit better and make it as less of a mountain for you is going to be pivotal.
Yeah. And when it comes to a build phase as well, if you do it properly and you increase your calories slowly enough, you shouldn't actually go from a fat loss phase to a build phase. You should go through a reverse diet phase, potentially sit at maintenance for a few weeks, and then enter into the build phase. If you go from a fat loss phase, let's say your daily energy expenditure and your calories at baseline is 2,000. You're in a fat loss phase, you finish up at, 1,400 calories. You then go into a build straight away at 2,200. You're eating 800 calories a day extra. That's when you do it incorrectly. You gain body fat really, really quickly compared to a reverse diet.
And not to mention the ramifications that has on your metabolic health.
Oh, absolutely.
Like horrible.
Yeah. So if you do it too quickly, that's where then it gives you that negative relationship with food, gives you that negative relationship with a
Body
build
image.
phase, and you then run. You gain a bit of extra weight and you're like, nah, I'm never doing that ever again. Whereas if you have the proper help and go with the proper approach of a reverse diet, build food intake back up, maintain your level of leanness and your body fat percentage, get to that maintenance phase, then you can then enter into a build because you are ready then.
Yeah.
And that's where you can then start realizing the benefits of food. Food for you, if you have just been through a fat loss phase, has probably been to try and help you decrease the size of your body, help you lose body fat, help you get leaner. And that's what you see food as when you are in a fat loss phase. Like, as much as people shouldn't, and I don't agree with that, that is what a lot of people see it as. Whereas when you go through that reverse diet, you go into maintenance, you go into a build phase, and you sit in that build phase for a while, you can then start really utilizing food for fuel for your workouts to get strong and look at other areas of your life that food can really, really benefit you in.
I call it kind of like your key performance indicators, and that can be used obviously in business, but it can also be used in your training as well. So for example, if you're going into your first ever build, having just completed your reverse diet, which as we know, that's the bridge between a fat loss phase and a build. You should be doing that. If you're not, please do. If you're starting to lean into your key performance indicators in your training, as for example, you're lifting more weight, you have more energy, you're hitting PBs in the gym. Like if you're leaning into that side of things and not being so fixated on your physique and your body and how you look, then it's going to make this journey that you are now about to embark on so much easier, because it's not going to be so mentally and emotionally taxing, because you're going to be seeing wins in different departments of your health and fitness.
Yeah, definitely. And those gains that you get, and when I say gains, I don't necessarily mean gains in muscle, but gains in strength, gains in energy. Those are all things that you can then take back into the next fat loss phase that you go into after you go through a build phase. Now, one big common mistake, which is not part of the question, but something that's just come to me when it comes to a build phase, a lot of people go into a build phase for like 1 or 2 months. You need to be in a build phase for a long amount of time. So that is why it's so important to bridge the gap between your fat loss phase and your build phase with a reverse diet, so you can mentally prepare yourself for that build phase, because that build phase should, in my opinion, be minimum 6 months, if not 9 to 12 ideally. 12 months or more would be fantastic.
If you want to see the correct positive adaptations to your physique, yes.
Yeah. Like, you can't gain muscle in a 3 month build, or much muscle at all. You need to be in a build phase for a very, very long time to be able to build a substantial amount of muscle to get to that point where you are happy with that, the gains that you've made.
Yeah, and being okay with like it being a long process as well.
Yeah.
Like internalizing it that, yeah, I'm going into this build phase. It's probably going to be hard, and I'm probably going to be here for a little while, but I'm going to lean into the benefits that this has on my health, my life, my fitness, my everything, rather than letting the scale weight dictate you, or letting your clothes size or how you look dictate you and your life.
Yeah. And you should have mini diets in there, or
Like
dieting
diet
phases. Yeah, like dieting breaks basically, or maintenance phases, but I'm not going to go on that tangent.
That's a
because I'll be
whole
there.
nother topic.
Absolutely. So I hope that helps in terms of how to mentally prepare yourself for a build.